live in 1 minute. We're live. Hello, hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to session number 7 of World of Aqua series. I'm so excited that you guys are here. It's been a few weeks, right? It's been a few weeks since we've been here. So welcome. Today we are diving deep into tape-in extensions. So if this is your first time here, my name is Samantha. I'm the artistic director with Aqua Hair Extensions. And like I said, today we are discussing the ins and outs of Aqua tape-in hair extensions. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited for you to be here today. And if you have any questions, I want to just fill you in on how this works. So we are currently live on Instagram. We are also live on YouTube and Facebook. So however you're watching this today, you can interact with me. Please do. So I love to answer all of your questions while we're live today. So if you have any hair extension questions, please shout them out. We have our beautiful team at Aqua behind the scenes feeding me all of your questions. So I want to make this all about you. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm answering all of your tape-in hair extension questions and all of your just general hair extension questions that you have anything about Aqua. So put them in the chat on Instagram, put them in the chat on Facebook. If you're watching live on YouTube, put your questions there or comments or anything that you have, because I would love for this to be interactive. And again, this is for you. So stylists, you asked about tape-in extensions. We're here to give you all of the information that we can. I'm going to be doing just a little mini demo on my beautiful girl Rose today. And for the first time, I will be debuting our new Easy tab, retape tab. So I'm so excited. So thank you for being here. Again, we'll be here for about the next hour. But before we get started, it's tradition. I think this has just now become our Monday World of Aqua tradition. So toast to you for spending your Monday afternoon with me. I'm here in my salon in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, which is a little south of Cleveland, Ohio. It is a gorgeous day. So I live in the Midwest, kind of closer to the East Coast. It has been so crappy, okay? The weather, I envy you if you live somewhere warm. It is not nice here most of the time. But today, I don't know if you can see the sun coming in the windows. It's 90 degrees. I know some of you are like, ooh, 90 degrees. I love it. I love the warm weather. I will take it. It snowed about 3 weeks ago, so I am in a sundress today, sleeveless, and I'm not freezing cold. So wherever you are, I hope you're experiencing some warm weather. Cheers to you for being here, and let's get started. I'm drinking a mango guava mimosa. They're very, very good. So if you've never tried mango guava mango juice, it's very good. It's a mango mimosa for the morning / afternoon. It's 12 o'clock here in my time zone. So let's dive right into it. Aqua tape-in extensions. Who uses them? Who loves them? Who loves tape-in extensions? Wave. Oh, I see all the waves. Thank you so much for being here. Tape-in extensions. Love Aqua tape-in extensions. Right? We have guests who wear them for so many reasons. We have guests who wear a full head of tape-in extensions, maybe for length and fullness, right? But my favorite way actually to use tape-in extensions is just for maybe some weight around the perimeter, right? Or maybe filling in the never-ending fringe that doesn't grow, right? Your guests say, these front pieces just don't grow. we know what happens. They actually do grow. They just continuously break. However, that is my favorite way to use our Aqua tape and extensions. And I will show you guys today how I do that with our single-sided tape. So if you love tape and extensions, oh, I love them. I see Lipstick and Scissor Artistry says, I love tape and extensions. Yes, I do as well. So I'm here today just to give you a little overview of our Aqua tape and extensions if you are new to the system. And then if you're familiar with the system, just give you a few extra tips and tricks on some ways that you can be utilizing them behind the chair. And then also some removal and reapplication tips with our new easy tape tabs. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, our Aqua tape and extensions, they do come in 3 different lengths, okay? 14, 18, and 22-inch length. And they do come already pre-taped, pre-cut and pre-taped, ready for you. Okay, so they come just like this in the pack. They are already pre-taped, pre-cut, ready to go. They do come with 10 pieces per pack. So this would be one piece, one individual piece, and each pack does contain 10 pieces, which then would make 5 complete panels together. Okay, so you may call them sandwiches. I like to say I eat sandwiches. Sandwiches do not belong in the hair, right? I panel 2 extension pieces together. So you can make 5 complete extension panels in the hair with our 10 pieces per pack. Or you can take those 10 pieces and panel them together with our single-sided tape, okay? Our single-sided tape at Aqua. Panel an extension piece and single-sided tape together. We'll talk about when and why you would do that to then make 10 extension panels, okay? Now, in order to create a full head of Aqua hair extensions, right? A full head meaning your guest wants to go from short hair to long, right? She wants to add length to her hair and create density and fullness. On average, your guest will wear 4 to 6 packs of Aqua hair extensions. Okay, 4 to 6 packs, which in total would be 40 to 60 pieces, 40 to 60 individual pieces of hair. Meaning this is one piece again that I'm holding. And that can be created paneling 2 pieces together or using the Aqua single-sided tape. Okay, so again, we're gonna dive into that shortly. So with our Aqua tape and extensions, the extensions themselves, if maintained properly by your guest, can be worn for 6 to 8 weeks at a time before they will need removed, retaped, and moved up. Okay, so 6 to 8 weeks, your guest will wear their hair at home before she comes back into the salon for that maintenance appointment. And the tape and extensions in total, again, if maintained properly, your guest can wear for up to 4 applications, okay, because they are reusable. So our tape and extensions will be retaped and reapplied in the hair for a total of up to 4 applications. So 1 already coming pre-taped, ready to go. And then your 3 reapplications would then be retaped using our retape tabs, okay, our retape tabs, or our new easy tabs. Okay, I'm gonna talk about these shortly. I am so ecstatic about our easy tabs. You have no idea. They're my new favorite thing, my new accessory. I stocked up on them. I cannot go without them, but I'm gonna talk about these shortly. So they can be retaped with either our retape tabs, okay, our traditional retape tabs, or our easy retape tabs. And that would be a total of up to 3 reapplications. So again, this is a system that's perfect for your guests who like to reuse their hair extensions, okay? That do not mind that salon maintenance. Every 6 to 8 weeks, they're coming back in to see you, maybe for a retouch or a toner or highlights, right? They're coming back in to get their color anyway. And they are okay with that maintenance appointment every 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, tape and extensions are also great for your guests with any hair type. Any hair type can wear tape and extensions. Your guests from very fine hair up to very thick, dense hair, okay, can wear Aqua tape and extensions. Now, your guests who we want to steer away from with tape and extensions, okay? These are some guests that maybe are not the ideal candidate. And that would be a guest who swims often, Okay, a guest who it's summertime, really likes to be out in the pool, likes to go in the ocean and swim. Okay, we know that the adhesive can break down and will break down with excessive moisture, with chlorine, with salt water. Okay, so they may not get the full 6 to 8 weeks wear if they are consistently swimming. The tape itself is a medical grade adhesive. Okay, it is a medical grade adhesive that can and will break down with chlorine and salt water, like I mentioned. So any of your guests who swim excessively, I would steer away from tape and extensions. Okay, another guest who maybe not be the ideal candidate would be a guest who is an excessive sweater on their scalp. Okay, and when I say excessive, I don't mean like they're working out and around their nape area gets just a little bit damp and they can hit it with a blow dryer or wipe it with a towel and they're good, right? If you are an excessive head sweater, right? Who are my girls that work out often? Or it's summertime, you live in a warm climate and you go outside and you're like, yeah, there is little to no way that when I leave here, I do not have to wash my hair, right? It is soaking wet. Thank goodness that is not me. I am a maybe twice a month hair washer. Yes, you heard that right. I think I wash my hair, if I'm lucky, twice a month. Thank goodness. I mean, you guys know me by now. I wear a hat probably 5 out of the 7 days a week, so I can really get away with hiding whatever's going on up there. But thank goodness I do not have to, I don't sweat excessively on my scalp, that I do not have to wash my hair nearly as often. However, we know we have guests that do. So your guests that are excessive scalp sweaters, again, the sweat from your scalp, right? Sorry, brain fart for a second. Sweat from your scalp can then get down into your tape and extensions and break down those bonds. Okay, so again, they may be okay for 3, 4, 5 weeks. They might not be a 6 to 8 week maintenance guest. So tape and extensions may not be ideal for them. So those would be your guests that I would definitely steer away from. And then also, just with any extension system, your guests that are so extremely fine that their scalp is see-through, their hair is see-through onto their scalp. Okay, I would definitely steer away because unfortunately they're not going to be able to cover their tape and extensions or pretty much any extension system if they are, very see-through. So those are your guests I would steer away from. And then your guests that are so extremely fine that they just do not have much density at all to their hair, okay? So you'll see during our application today, when I apply my tape and extensions, okay, I apply the very first tape and extension piece from the top and I lift, the extension chooses how much hair it wants in there, right? Your extremely fine hair guests that do not have much density whatsoever. And I don't mean just fine hair overall, right? I mean almost see-through clients that there's not enough density to hold the weight of a tape and extension. I would steer clear of those guests. There may be other systems that work best for them. So those are your guests we're gonna stay away from. Any other guests absolutely can wear tape and extensions. We're gonna do a demo so you can see the various options and various ways to apply and what to choose and when you're applying your tape and extensions, okay? So in addition to the hair, I just want to talk about a few other tools that we're going to be using today for the application. So I already discussed the single-sided tape, retape tabs, and easy tabs. I want to talk about when and why we would use those, okay? So when it comes to our single-sided tape, looks like this. Our single-sided tape comes in the blue marbled package, okay? The single-sided tape has 36 pieces per pack, and you'll notice they are clear. If you've not used our single-sided tape, please do yourself a favor and purchase a pack. It is the most incredible asset to your tape and extensions, okay? How many of you have guests with very fine hair? And I don't mean so fine that we're see-through, right? I just mean very, just overall fine density. And you apply 2 pieces of tape and extensions to make one complete panel, and it was too heavy for their hair. Okay, one piece of Aqua tape and extensions is roughly 2.5 grams of hair, okay, give or take, depending on the length. So 2 complete extension panels is now 5 or more grams of hair. Some guests with fine hair, that is way too much weight on their hair, and it will absolutely cause damage. Okay, those guests is where single-sided tape comes in. So your guests that do have finer hair can only sustain the weight of 1 extension piece. I would then take 1 extension piece and panel it together with single-sided tape. So our single-sided tape is very sturdy and strong. Pull a piece off for you. It's very sturdy and strong. Line it up with both cameras. Okay, but you can see it is clear and a little bit shiny. So when we do the application today, my single-sided tape will go underneath and my hair extension piece will go on top. So what I love about the single-sided tape, it is very sturdy, okay? It's not super flimsy. Yes, I know you can see that it is movable, absolutely, and pliable, but it has, like you can kind of see as I flick it, it definitely has substance to it, right? So it's not just going to cause the hair extension to bend and twist and flip. It definitely is sturdy enough to sit on the back end of it to create substance and allow for this extension piece to not fold in half, right? I've seen where other brands, the single-sided tape is just as flimsy and flexible as the retape tabs, and it just does not have enough substance to it to allow for the extension piece to not fold in the hair. So it is very sturdy. That's what I absolutely love. Another tip, we want to make sure the single-sided tape is a one-time use. So when you do remove the single-sided tape, we absolutely want to throw this piece away and apply a new piece every single time, okay? So that is the single-sided tape, okay? The Aqua retape tabs, okay, our traditional retape tabs, they come in a package with 60 pieces in the white marbled package. Let focus here. The white marbled package. And your retape tabs is what you are going to use to retape our Aqua tape and extensions, okay? What I absolutely love about Aqua tape and extensions is you do not have to remove, and we actually recommend to not remove the old tape from the tape and extensions when you do your removal and reapplication appointment, okay? So that is why we say your guests can wear them for up to 4 applications, because every time I remove my tape and extensions, I leave the previous tape fully intact. I take a new piece of retape tabs and I place it directly over top of the previous tape and I'm ready to reapply. Okay, I do not remove the old tape, I leave it. They are so thin and flexible, there is no need to remove that previous tape. You can just continuously stack them and they still do not get like overly thick. So if you can see, this tape and extension already has 3 pieces of retape tabs on there. It's still so thin and flexible. Very, very thin and flexible. Your guests will not notice a difference in their hair, and that's what I absolutely love. So when I'm ready to place my retape tabs right over top, you'll just want to line up the tape, curved edge with the curved edge, straight edge with the straight edge. So always just be sure you do not touch the adhesive, okay? You don't want to touch the adhesive. I just simply take the previous side with adhesive on there, okay? I do not want to make a new sticky side, right? I take the side with the tape already exposed and I place a new piece of retape directly over top, and just be sure you line it up perfectly. Just press firmly, but again, I lined up the curved edge and the straight edge. Okay, and you can see this is 4 pieces of retape tabs. Okay, this would be my final wear. They're still very, very thin and flexible. So we have a question. What happens when the strip comes off in the hair when you take them out? Yes, so we're going to talk about what to do when that happens and why that may have happened. and how we can fix it with especially with our new easy tabs. But if that does happen, it's not a problem. You can still continuously retape over what is there. Right, that is not a problem. Lindsay had that question on Instagram. She's saying when you remove the tape and extensions, if for some reason the tape comes off in the hair, it's not a problem. You can still retape over what is left. So when I'm retaping, quick and easy, okay? There's no need to remove my old tape, which makes this application and reapplication so quick and easy, okay? I do not need to wash and clarify my extensions before putting them back in. There's no need to remove that old tape, get all sticky and gunky, right? It just creates such a huge mess. It's very quick and easy, again, allowing you as a stylist to not spend all your time removing and retaping. And we know time is money, so this will allow for a much, much easier reapplication, okay? The very last things that I want to talk about is our removers. So at Aqua, we do carry two types of removers. So our first remover is called Express Remover, okay? Our Express Remover is what we will be using 99% of the time. Our Express Remover is what we use to remove our tape and extensions from the hair. It is an alcohol-based remover, okay? It's an alcohol-based remover, which means it does evaporate off the hair, allowing for the extensions to be completely dry, no residue, no oils left on the hair, and I can retape right over top of my previous tape, okay? We know it's alcohol-based, so it's going to evaporate. That is the only remover that I will touch onto my hair extensions. Okay, our second remover is called Glide. Our Glide remover is an oil-based remover, okay? Oil-based remover. So we know if the Glide remover does get on our tape and extensions, oil and adhesive do not mix, right? Oil will remove the extensions, absolutely. It will break down that adhesive, but at that point, you do have to then re-prep your hair extensions, right? So if for some reason the Glide remover, the oil-based remover, does touch the extensions themselves, it has to be washed away, right? It has to be. It does not evaporate. It will not just completely go away, and we cannot retape over top of that Glide remover. So at that point, they do have to be re-prepped with their Aqua Prep shampoo, prepped very, very well, blown dry 100%, and then retaped. Unfortunately, we know that is much more time, much more money, much more mess. So what I would recommend is to only use the Glide remover in the instance that I removed my tape and extensions from the hair. I completely removed the tape and extensions. If there's any residue left in the hair, right? Or as Lindsay asked, what if the tape gets stuck in the hair? Okay, that's when I would use my Glide remover on the natural hair itself. Okay, never on my tape and extensions. Will it hurt your tape and extensions? No. It will remove the bonds. They absolutely will break down the bonds. But unfortunately, at that point, you absolutely have to wash it away. Okay, cannot stress this enough. I get inquiries from stylists sometimes who have not taken certification classes with us. They get the removers mixed up and they're like, I don't know what to do. I used a remover. It's very oily. I can't retape my extensions. What do I do? Glide remover has to be washed away from the natural hair and the tape and extensions if for some reason it touches them. Okay, so I will say personally, behind the chair, this, I'm not exaggerating. My salon now has been open. We're going on 3 years, okay? We've been open here. We're a large commission salon. I have 15 stylists, 7 or 8 of which all do tape and extensions. This is still our very first and only Glide remover we've ever had in our salon. Okay, I'm not exaggerating. This is the only bottle of Glide remover we've used, and it is about that full. We rarely use Glide remover because I find that Express remover still will remove residue from the hair. I don't like feeling oily, okay? So I use Express remover to remove my extensions and remove any residue from the hair. It works just perfectly for me. However, I totally understand If you feel that there's still residue left in the hair, please, please pull out your glide remover, use it on the natural hair, and comb out any excess residue, adhesive, or tape that may have gotten stuck in the hair. Okay, so that is when you would use one of each of the removers. It's great to have. I actually used glide remover recently to take gum out of a little girl's hair that came into the salon. The mom was panicking. She got gum stuck in her hair. Glide remover did the trick. So it's not a bad thing to have around. Just please, I cannot stress enough. I know I've said it a million times. If glide remover touches your tape and extensions, they have to be prepped away. Okay, you have to wash them with our prep shampoo 2 to 3 times, completely get the glide remover off of the hair, blow them dry, and then retape them. Okay, now, the last product I want to talk about is our Aqua Easy Tabs. I am so excited for these. I'm sure you saw our video that we launched. I guess we've launched them now just a few short weeks ago. And just the marketing that we've put around our Aqua Easy Tabs. Now, I've been using Aqua Easy Tabs 3 or 4 months now. I've been testing them out, and I was completely sold immediately. It changed my entire removal game. Okay, 100%. It changed my entire removal and reapplication game on my tape and extensions, especially for my finer haired clients. Okay, that is where I truly noticed such a difference. So you're probably asking, what's the difference? Why would I use these easy tabs over regular Aqua retape tabs? I love my Aqua retape tabs. Why would I switch? Okay, I'm not saying every single guest should switch over to easy tabs. If you're using the Aqua retape tabs and they're working perfectly for you, you have no residue and little to no residue when you're removing. Okay, your guests, they're staying in the hair perfectly for 6 to 8 weeks. The removal process is simple for you. Perfect. Absolutely love that. You must live in the best climate. Okay, the best climate. Your guests are not swimming often. Your guests do not sweat often. You don't have hard well water or mineral water where you live, and they're working perfectly for you. Okay, we're not saying let's switch if everything's going great. I'm speaking to my stylists. Raise your hand if you're one of them, that you have guests with very fine hair. Okay, very fine hair, and when you are going to do your removal process, it's a nightmare. Okay, total nightmare. How many of you go to remove one client and it's phenomenal? So simple, the extensions remove so easy, there's no residue left in the hair, you re-prep their hair, you retape their hair extensions, you put them back in, and it's great. Okay, then your next client comes in tomorrow. You go to remove her extensions and it's a total nightmare. So much residue, you can barely get the extensions out of the hair. The residue is really difficult to remove and prep, and it's a sticky mess, and then you retape the extensions and it's even more of a mess, right? How many times does that happen? Where one guest is great, piece of cake, and you have this problem child over here that you're like, can you not wear tape and extensions anymore? I know what happens to me. It absolutely does. I have this beautiful set of clients that have no challenges, and then I have this other set of clients that I'm like, I want to hide when it's removal day, right? Do you want to know why that happens? It is 100% due to either their body chemistry, okay, depending on how much they sweat. So if your guest sweats, not so much to where the extensions remove, just has this body makeup where the extensions adhere to their hair so much it makes it more difficult to remove. That's one reason why that happens. Okay. Second reason, your guest's blow dryer is way too hot, way too warm. So when your guests are blow drying their hair, absolutely, we discuss that they do need to always blow dry their hair. Most of our clients have used their blow dryer on way too high of a heat setting. And high heat actually does not remove the extensions. It drives the adhesive further together. So when your guests are cranking their heat up on their hot tools, whether it's their blow dryer or they're getting too close to the tape tabs with their flat iron, they're actually adhering those extensions further and further together, causing way more difficult of a removal. Okay. And then the third reason, and this unfortunately happens where I live, we have a town full of hard mineral water. And then I have guests with well water. The mineral makeup and the conjunction of the adhesive in the tape and extensions do not mix well. It causes a lot of residue left in the hair on some guests, and again, is really difficult to remove. So, with that being said, at Aqua, we heard the feedback. We knew this was happening, okay? It was happening to myself even. And for a period of time, years ago, I had no idea why it was only happening to some guests. After much more research, we figured out, okay, this is why it's happening to some clients, but not other clients. What can we do about it, right? How can we make stylists' life easier? And how can we make them fall in love with tape and extensions again, okay? Because I get it. I know some of you were turned off by it. So now we're like, okay, what can we do? How can we make you love tape and extensions again? Easy tabs are your best answer, okay? I will tell you, since I've switched over, the majority of my guests who were experiencing challenges with them, switched them over to Easy Tabs, it allows for the cleanest removal that I've ever seen, okay? So I'm not exaggerating. I will spray the Express Remover on my guest's hair, and the Easy Tabs easily remove top, bottom, no residue left in the hair. And these were my guests that were problem children previously, where I dreaded the removal. Like I'm telling you, and my two assistants, I love them to death, and I pay them so much extra on those days because I don't want to touch them. They did my removals. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you, bye. I'll see you when they're nice and dry again, right? So now I'm like, oh no, I got it. Easy Tabs, I will remove all day long. So Easy Tabs are great for your guests with really fine hair, your finer haired clients that may experience more residue than some of your other guests. And they're also great for guests who have medium to heavy density of hair. So they work for any client, okay? And again, you will have significantly less challenges removing, but they're still strong and sturdy. So I don't want you to get confused thinking, okay, well, because they remove so much easier, they're going to last in the hair. Absolutely. They absolutely will. They will still last 6 to 8 weeks in the hair. They're still very strong and sturdy. However, it is a much more easier removal process. Okay, so I encourage you to grab a pack, try them out. Try them out on your clients you're experiencing challenges with, right? We all have clients that have no challenges whatsoever with the removal. Try them on your guests that you are experiencing some challenges. This way you can truly see the difference. Okay, I have tried them out now probably on 15 to 16 different heads of hair, right? Everything from fine to dense hair. Every guest that, some of my guests wash their hair the dreaded every single day, right? Your guests that you're like, oh my gosh, please stop washing your hair every single day. That also will cause extra residue, and that will cause your guests to have challenges with removal. So I've tried them on those guests, and then I've tried them on my guests who wash their hair every 2 to 3 weeks, okay? Every hair type, well water, no well water, and they've held up every single time. So I do encourage you to try them. Grab a pack. If you do try them, tag us. Tag Aqua on Instagram. Tag me, because I would really love to see your feedback. I would really love to know what you think of our Easy Tabs and how it's going for you. And I really want to know how much time you saved on your removal. Okay, for me, it cut down that entire process by 30 to 40 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes, guys. That is so much money in your pocket. So grab a pack, tag me, and let me know how much time it saved. I really would love to know. So those are all the tools that we're going to use for our application today. What I want to discuss and really what I want to demo is the difference between our paneled pieces and our single-sided tape, okay? And then also demonstrate the removal and the retaping process. So I know what I spoke to so many stylists, and I think stylists struggle the most with the application when it comes to connecting the front and the back of the hair. So let me move over just a second, and I want to grab my pliers. Okay. So I think stylists mostly struggle when it comes to the application of connecting the back and the sides together without experiencing that hole behind the ear. Okay, would you agree? Would you agree? I see lots of waves. I see, raise your hand if you would agree that that is kind of where the application may go south, right? Or when to determine if I'm going to use single-sided tape or retape tabs. I'm sorry, single-sided tape or two panels together. Single-sided tape or two panels that you're paneling together, right? I think stylists struggle with knowing which is the better option. So when it comes to the application, I will start the application always in the back, in the nape, okay? Always in the back. Remember, if you've watched trainings with me, if you've taken classes with us at Aqua, we always start our application roughly 4 fingers up from the hairline in the back, okay? Does anybody know why? Anybody who's taken an Aqua class with me or with one of our national educators, why do we start our application no lower in the nape than 4 fingers? I always laugh because we always do the visual. So we never want to start the application any lower with tape and extensions than right below the occipital bone because the scalp moves, okay? The scalp moves in our nape area. So everyone do this. Take your 4 fingers, tuck your thumb, place your pointer finger at your hairline, okay? Your pointer finger right at your hairline, and then let your 4 fingers, I'm gonna turn around so you can see, let your 4 fingers cup your nape area. Tilt your head forward, tilt it back, tilt it to the right and left. Move it all around. What's happening to all that skin? It's moving, right? It's stretching all around. What would happen if I put a wide piece of tape and extension down there or a full hand-tied row? Tension, damage, right? If your guest sleeps on her right side, the left side's gonna pull and vice versa. So do the same thing. Take your 4 fingers, place your pointer finger right below your occipital bone where your pinky just was, right? Place it there. Then move your head all around. Nothing, right? It does not move once you reach that occipital bone. So when we're applying hand-tied weft and tape and extensions, we never want to go below. Directly below that occipital bone would be the lowest, which is roughly 4 fingers up from the hairline. We know every guest is different. Some guests that might be 3, some guests that might be 5, right? It really just depends. But always map that out and you do not put them lower than that, okay? You're really, really running into challenges if that were to happen. Now, we know with single strand extensions, keratin fusion, cylinder extensions, we can push the limits because they're much smaller. They're not going to pull and have those same tension challenges. So we would apply our tape and extensions up the back. And then once we hit to where we are above the ear on the sides, okay, this is when I would take a full horseshoe-shaped row around the head, nice and straight, and I would incorporate the sides, okay? So when I'm incorporating the sides, I want a full row to where I don't have those seams open behind the ear. So what I like to do, take my tape and extension piece. Now, I'm gonna back up for a moment because I get this question often too. When it comes to our tape and extension application, when it comes to any extension application, we always, always, always need to make sure we're prepping the hair properly, okay? I get this question so often, and on Instagram, have stylists message me and they say, I'm not sure what happened. I applied my tape and extensions and they fell out. They started to slide, okay? We start troubleshooting, going back and forth, you know, tell me your process, walk me through what happened. Most of the time, the hair was not prepped properly, okay? We need the hair to be extremely clean before any extension application happens, before this initial application and before the reapplication. So as soon as the extensions are removed or before they're applied for the first time, I take my guest back to my shampoo bar, so we call in our salon, back to the shampoo bowl, shampoo area. I want to wash her hair 2 to 3 times with Aqua Prep shampoo. Okay, prep her hair very, very well. 2 to 3 times with Aqua Prep shampoo. Blow dry her 100%, but I want to use no conditioner, no product on the hair. Okay, just prep shampoo. No conditioner, no product. I don't want anything on the hair that may compromise the adhesive on the tape and extensions. Okay, zero conditioner, zero product, blow dry her 100%. I'm good, ready to apply. Okay, I do that before my initial application, but I also do that especially before my reapplication. You just sprayed a bunch of express remover in her hair, and you also potentially sprayed glide remover in her hair, and she's been wearing her hair for 6 to 8 weeks. We want to get anything, build up residue product out of her hair before we start our reapplication. Cool? All right. So when we are ready to apply, incorporating our sides. So I always use my tail comb and determine how high above the ear and around the hairline can I place my extensions. Okay, so I roughly am 2 fingers above the ear, 2 fingers away from any hairline. Okay, that absolutely will vary depending on your guest, but I take my tail comb, slide it in the hair, pull the hair up. If I cannot see through the hair onto my tail comb, I know I'm safe to place my extensions there, and I would do that in the front as well. So when I am incorporating the sides into the back of my application, okay, right? We're talking about a full application. I already put extensions throughout the back. Now I'm incorporating the sides. I would take my first extension piece, remove the backing. I'm going to go 2 to 3 fingers away from the hairline. Again, use your tail comb. And I start my very first extension in the front. So I'm going to ensure that the hair is all laying in its natural growth direction. Okay, natural growth direction, 2 to 3 fingers away from the hairline, but I also want to stay at a 1/4 inch away from the parting that I just created. I do not want this extension shoved up at the scalp. Okay, this extension needs room to move, be very pliable, pull her hair up, pull it to the right and left, right? I need to pull my hair back. We do not want it directly at the scalp. It's going to cause a lot of challenges. So before I apply my first extension, I want to make sure I'm roughly a 1/4 inch away from the scalp, 2 to 3 fingers away from the hairline. The hair's in its natural growth direction, okay? And I lay my extension straight down onto the hair. And I press firmly. So notice how much hair is in between my extension and the scalp, okay? I always say it's roughly a week to a week and a half's worth of regrowth. So I press firmly. I'm going to lift my extension piece. Notice all the hair that's coming up with that extension. Okay, this application, the hair extension chooses how much hair it wants in that panel. Okay, because if the hair is more dense, it's going to grab a little less hair. If the hair is finer, it's going to grab more hair. So it chooses how much hair it wants. Okay, only if you press firmly. Chooses how much hair it wants. I take all the hair up with this extension that got stuck, and I take down any hairs that did not get stuck. Most importantly, I want to make sure there is no hair in this extension piece, okay, this 1.5 inch wide section. There's no hair beyond the 1.5 inch on the right or left, okay? I do not want hair over-directed from here into this extension. That is where it's going to pull, it's going to cause, it's going to be very uncomfortable on your guest, and eventually they're just going to rip out. So I'm going to take, I can now either take a second extension piece or single-sided tape and place it on the other end of this extension. Now I'm going to use single-sided tape because this is the very front of her hairline, right? It's the very front. Typically guests are a little bit finer here, so we're gonna say that she's a little finer around her hairline, and I do not want the weight of 2 extension panels together. I just want one. So we're gonna start with the single-sided tape. Another great use of single-sided tape would be for guests that you're applying tape and extensions just for color purposes, right? Just a pop of highlight, low light. Maybe you're putting red, blue, purple. This one extension is plenty of color. You don't really need a second extension piece paneled together. You can easily take single-sided tape and still get that beautiful like slice of color in her hair. So that would be another great use of single-sided tape. So we have a few questions. Lindsay said, what would you do if they wear glasses, especially on the side? Great question, Lindsay. I have every single guest put their glasses on before I apply their extensions. Put their glasses on, okay? And I account for where their glasses fall, whether it's a thick arm, I guess, I'm not sure you would call it, a thick side piece to their glasses, or is it thin? So I put them on and I make sure I move up higher than where their glasses sit. That's a great question. Another question from Nicole on Vimeo. She said, how soon after a keratin treatment do you wait before applying extensions? Great question. So always follow manufacturer directions, right? So if you're doing a treatment that your guest has to wait 48 hours, 72 hours before they can get their hair wet, you must wait that time per manufacturer directions before you can wash and re-prep her hair again, right? But if it is a smoothing or keratin treatment that there's no wait time, no downtime, you could wash immediately. Absolutely, you can do it in the same day, as long as you're able to prep her hair beforehand. So follow the manufacturer directions. If you can wash right away, perfect. But again, we always have to make sure we prep the hair before the application. So it just depends on the brand that you're using, Lindsay. I'm sorry, Nicole. It always depends on the brand that you're using. So I pulled off one of my pieces of single-sided tape. Okay, the adhesive is on the back end. I line up the rounded edge with the rounded edge and the straight edge with the straight edge. Okay, and I simply cover the adhesive on my top piece. Okay, then I can do one of two things. I can either use my hands to seal. Okay, I like to put my thumbs underneath and my fingers on top and just really seal that extension well. Or at Aqua, we have really awesome tape-in pliers. Okay, they look like this. Do not confuse these with our deluxe pliers that we use for our cylinder and hand-tied application. Okay, the deluxe pliers have a small circle opening on them. They're rounded. If you notice, these are very boxy and straight, like the tape extensions are. So what I could do is I like to take my stainless steel tape-in pliers and just really seal my extensions well. Okay, I use these for a few different reasons. One, it just makes you look professional. It absolutely does, right? If you are doing a tape-in application and you pull out a professional set of pliers, you look more like a professional, right? Tape-in extensions now, especially with YouTube and so many ways out there, clients think that those are really simple and anybody can put them in and they can put their own tape-ins in. They can go to Sally's and buy them. I say that because I just had a client recently call because she had a nightmare like a nightmare situation. She went to the beauty supply, bought a bunch of tape-in extensions. No, she bought them on Amazon. Even worse, she bought them on Amazon, put a full set of tape-in extensions in herself. Don't ask me how. She went and showered and they all fell out. We know, of course, that's going to happen. There's for so many reasons, but it did. And so then she came in and wanted me to put them in. That was a long other story. And we ended up giving her a full set of tape-in extensions, Aqua tape-in extensions. And when I was using my pliers, she's like, whoa, I didn't know I should be using those. And I'm like, absolutely. That's really going to seal my extensions very well. So that just elevated my extension game behind the chair. But two, I will tell you, it absolutely seals the extensions better than your fingers can. So much more pressure. It takes out all the air bubbles and it really allows for the corners to seal really, really well. So that would be another great use for our tape-in extension pliers. So you see now that I'm sealed, my extension should always move freely up and down, okay? I would say like a hinge. I should be able to hinge this extension up and down very freely, okay? And I should be able to move it to the right or left and the hair above my extension move. I know that I'm not too close. And then I like to go to the other side and apply my tape-in extension in the front on my left side. This way the two front extension pieces are completely even. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. Go to the other side, roughly 2 to 3 fingers away from my hairline. Make sure the hair is sitting in its natural growth direction, 1/4 inch away from the scalp, and lay my extension panel or my extension piece down. Notice it's very straight. All of my sections are straight, okay? At Aqua, we apply all of our tape-in extensions always completely horizontal, okay? Always in a horizontal section, okay? The hair grows that way. We never place our tape-in extensions at a diagonal. The hair does not grow at a diagonal. The hair grows completely horizontal, right? It grows straight down. So if I were to place my extension at a diagonal, yes, you may think in theory, my guests that wear their hair up, right? It's easier for them to pull up. It might be. It may be for the first few weeks easier for them to pull their hair up. However, what happens in 6, 7, 8 weeks when their hair is now grown and it's grown unevenly, right? Because it's at a diagonal. So as the hair grows, the back end of that extension piece is going to sit further down, causing the weight to pull down from the front down on the back. So it's sitting here, grown, it's going to pull from the front end of that extension, absolutely causing damage, okay? So we always place them horizontally. So I'm going to lift. All the hair that got completely stuck to my extension piece, I take up with it. Okay, any hair that did not get stuck, I take away. We have a delivery conveniently while we're live today. So I apologize. UPS sees me in here, so they're like, oh, let me deliver their packages. A little cameo from the UPS driver. All right, so I take all the hair up that got stuck in that extension. And again, because I used single-sided tape on the right side, I'm going to use that on the left side as well. Sorry, guys. And I always ensure that I don't touch the single-sided tape. Curved, straight. Line it up and cover the adhesive. Use my fingers to seal or use my tape-in pliers. And you're good. So my sides are completed. Now I'm going to work my way around the back. So I always ensure that I'm leaving at least a 1/4 inch of space. Let me grab one more clip here. At least a 1/4 inch of space in between my 2 extension pieces or my extension panels, if you panel 2 together, side by side, okay? At least a 1/4 inch of space we want to leave. And I'll place my second extension down. Now, pro tip, we want to kind of map out the hair, right? So I just want to see how many am I going to fit back here. So I'm going to do one here, one here, one here. Perfect. So I'm going to be able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4 across the back. What you can do is you can take 4 extension pieces and lay the tops down, okay? And then lift and back end them, but do not forget to back end them. So do not forget to either place a single-sided tape underneath or a second extension underneath. This way, if I place them around the head and I want to adjust them, I just simply need to take it off, move it slightly to your left or right, place it back down. Once I panel the 2 together with my fingers or with my tape and pliers, they're stuck. You're using remover to remove those. if you just place the tops down, lift and back end them afterwards, it is much easier to go with your sectioning, right? And just make sure that you are bricklaying and allowing for this placement to be even. So I'm going to take and lift, take all the hair that got stuck in that extension, take any hair down that did not, and now I will back end this with my second extension piece. See all the comments on Instagram. Oh, hi Candace, I see you're watching. Thank you. Candace is a friend of mine. She has an identical twin sister, and they work together in the salon. They're the cutest. They are in Pennsylvania. So I'll use my fingers to apply, or my tape and pliers. And I seal. And I'm good to go. Okay, so I will continue around the head in that same fashion, applying the top and paneling the second piece underneath. Okay, I would do this first section, drop down another section, 1 to 2 fingers above, and place the same way. So I hope this will really help you with the front and the back. So let me place one more here. Just so you really can see how this will absolutely incorporate the back to the side seamlessly during your application. Because again, I hear from so many stylists, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong because I always get that hole behind the ear. Oh, Lindsay says, I'm in PA too, woo! If anybody knows, I'm actually from the Pittsburgh area in Pennsylvania. So I love my Pennsylvania stylists. I live here in Ohio now, and I have for the last few years, but I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Okay, so I'll panel this together, and then I would continue around the back. So I would place one more extension here, and a second one here. I could fit 2 more right in that middle back. So you can see this will seamlessly, here's the ear, seamlessly fill in behind the ear. If you were to work the entire way up the back with your tape-in extensions, okay, and then do the sides, you're always going to have this hole behind the ear, right? My next row, we know the hairline grows forward. I can start my very first extension a little bit more forward, which in turn would allow my second extension to still be a little bit more forward, which would fill in this little 1/4 inch gap in the middle here. So my first one would go here, my second one would go here, and in turn fill in and bricklay over top of this gap. Okay, so if you are new to tape-in extensions, that might have been a little much for you. I encourage you to take a certification class with us, okay? In the certification class, you learn the entire placement, start to finish, how to bricklay your extensions, right? We do a zigzag pattern when we're applying, so we'll start on the right, apply to the left, then we start on the left and apply back to the right, and we zigzag our way up the head. This ensures the extensions are always just slightly off-centered to the previous row or bricklayed, right? Because we're filling in our previous 1/4 inch spaces. So it allows for a very seamless application versus more of a stacked application where I place my extension, 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 my next row would go directly above those, right? You're always gonna have those same holes. So we always just ensure we fill in the spaces in between the 2 extension pieces, ensuring that it's very, very seamless in the hair. So again, if you're newer to tape-in extensions, that may be a little much for you, but if you are familiar with tape and extensions, I hope that this application will help you a little bit. And if you've taken a class with us, this is probably just a little bit of a refresher for you. So when it comes to removal and reapplication, I'm going to use my Express Remover, okay? Now, these are fresh. They're going to come out very easy, right? They absolutely are. We know how. So I did use the easy tabs here on the right side, left side technically of her head, and I used the retape tabs on the right side. However, we know I just applied these. It's on a mannequin, right? They're going to come out like butter. However, you can see that they are very, very much similar in the hair. You do not notice any difference, right? They're very thin and flexible. However, I encourage you to try them on your guest and see how the removal process works. So I'm going to use my Express Remover. I'm going to spray my Express Remover above the tape and extensions and let the Express Remover do its job, okay? What is going to allow for that, the adhesive on the tape and retape tabs to break down is your Express Remover. I cannot stress this enough. The Express Remover is going to do the removal for you. If you spritz 2 or 3 sprays and try to pull them apart too soon, you're going to damage your client's hair and it's going to take you way too much time. Let your Express Remover do its job. I cannot stress that enough. Let it do the work for you. So I spray the remover above my tape and extensions, let it seep down in the bonds. It's slowly starting to work, okay? I do 2 or 3 at a time. So I would spray 2 or 3, let it sit for 60 seconds, let it start to remove. I'm gonna go to the opposite side, spray my Express Remover, and I want to spray the remover above the bonds so that the remover seeps down into the bonds. Okay, seeping down in there, it's really doing its job. Now I come back over to my original that I had sprayed. Now, how many of us right now go in and try to remove the bonds left to right, side to side? I know we do it. I did it for years. Side to side. I would just go in with my fingers and start to remove them side to side. Here's a tip. Remove your tape and extensions top to bottom. It will be much easier, allow for less residue, and it's going to remove all of the tape, not just the top layers of tape, okay? So I'm going to start removing from the center of the top. Use my fingernail, start to break up the 2 pieces, top to bottom, okay? Then I do not immediately rip it apart, okay? I'm tugging on it slightly. It's not breaking up. Express Remover, spray it again. Now I just slightly opened them. So my second spray is going to really get down into my bonds, okay? I go to my second one, same. I start to separate top to bottom. So I go all along the top and separate, spray again, let it sit. I go to my opposite side and do the same thing. I see that Instagram, blow dryers suck. Instagram, I'm not sure your actual first name, but she says, I'm going to get the pliers and easy tabs now, he or she. So I'm going to get that pliers and easy tabs now. Once you do, take a little video, tag me. My Instagram is at @Sharpie_J. I know it was in the beginning of this, SHARPI_J. Tag me. I'm very excited to see, and also tag Aqua Extensions. We're very excited to see what you think. Oh, Jen. Hi, Jen. I was like, blow dryers suck. Okay, so I'm removing top to bottom, spraying my remover. We have a question. Hi, do you have classes in Spanish? That's a good question. I know we have a few educators that do speak Spanish. I don't know that we offer full Spanish classes at the moment. I may be wrong. If anyone behind the scenes currently has any insight to that question. I'm not 100% sure. I know we have in the past. We have a distributor in Puerto Rico, and I know we have 2 educators that do speak fluent Spanish, but I don't know that we've offered full Spanish classes before. That is something we absolutely can look into. So I pulled my top extension off. My second one, I'd go underneath, pull directly straight down and out. Okay, that will be the absolute easiest way to do your removal. So I pull from the top down. Okay, top down, pull that off. If your bottom piece still is stuck, spray it again. Use your remover. Cannot stress that enough. Then sometimes I will even like to take my fingernails and rub side to side just to really get that hair broken up. I go underneath and pull straight down. Single-sided tape gets thrown away. So I encourage you to try it. Try this removal process. Try to use a lot of your remover and try to remove top to bottom and see if you notice less residue in the hair. Okay, see if you notice it being a much easier removal process. These are now just wanting to slide right out because I sprayed so much express remover on them and it's on a mannequin. Awesome. So after I remove my entire set of extensions, I always take my comb through, remove any shed hair, and then I always, again, re-prep her hair. Always, always, always re-prep her natural hair before you start any new application, okay? Once my tape-in extensions have been removed, I let them sit, lay out to dry, okay? A lot of these are now, the first 2 I removed are almost dry. Then I'm ready to retape. I already demonstrated the retape process, but I would take my retape tabs, place them directly over top of my previous tape, and I'm ready to reapply. Again, I don't wash these. All I sprayed on them was express remover. They're going to dry. Let them dry before you retape. Please do not retape over top of wet tape-in extensions. Let them dry, and you're good to reapply. Any questions? Do we have any questions before we wrap up today? So again, I encourage you to try the easy tabs. Try your easy tabs, especially for your guests who are your problem children. Okay, I am excited to hear your feedback on the easy tabs and try this removal process. So if you're currently removing left to right, if you're peeling them side to side, use your express remover, start to pull apart from top to bottom, continuously spray your express remover, really try to get the express remover in the bond. Top extension piece pulls off, more remover goes on the bottom. Use your fingernail to really break up that hair side to side, pull the second piece straight out. Okay, I'm really excited to see if this helps your removal process. So we have another question. Do you ship the remover to Canada? Erin, we do have distributors in Canada. So if you log on to aquahairextensions.com, you'll be able to see who your local distributor for Canada is. We absolutely do. So Aqua is sold in Canada for a few different distributors. So if you go to the website, you absolutely can scroll to the bottom and find your local beauty distributor that you can get the remover from. Great question. All right, so I do see a few more questions rolling in. I came in late. Has had the hair that had been waved with an iron. Would you shampoo them? Okay, great question. Drew said, if the hair was waved with a curling iron or a waver, would I have shampooed them? I don't actually. I do not wash the hair extensions before I reapply them. I have all of my clients come in with clean, dry hair, okay? Very clean, dry hair. This way, I'm removing their hair and reapplying their extensions. I always, yes, I'm washing their natural hair. However, I do not wash the extensions themselves. Okay, I always am re-prepping their natural hair, but I don't wash the extensions themselves. So I would reapply them with that wave, and then I would re-wave their hair, or you can feel free to flat iron their extensions and put them in straight. It's not a problem. Any other questions before we wrap up? How do we feel? How do we feel the little tips and tricks given today? Who's new to single-sided tape? It's very windy. The weather just took a turn for the worst. We are now storming. Guys, welcome to Ohio. It was just sunny and 90 degrees, and I looked out, and it is a windstorm, and it is pouring down rain. Who wants to come visit Ohio? Just kidding. So our single-sided tape. Who's excited? Who's new to single-sided tape? Who's going to go out and grab some single-sided tape? I'm excited for you. This will change your world. If you've never used single-sided tape with tape and extensions, it is completely going to change your extension game on your guests with finer hair. Absolutely, it's going to. So I'm really excited for that. And I know just a few extra little tips. The holidays are different holidays are coming up that kids are out of school for. So if you have guests who cannot wear colored hair throughout their school year, but they can in the summer, right? 4th of July is coming up. Red, blue tape and extension pieces are so adorable on young girls with single-sided tape. Charge them $25, $35 for an individual piece. Pop that extension, that red extension, that blue extension in. Just one single piece with with single-sided tape. Take you 5 minutes, and they have a fun pop of color in their hair. Okay, even not just for 4th of July. They can have pink, they can have purple, they can have teal. There's so many fun colors, and just a quick, easy way to pop some tape and extensions in. Right? They're reusable. They can continuously use them all summer. They can take them out, save them for next year, right? So it's just a fun, quick way to utilize the single-sided tape. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for spending the last hour with me. I am looking forward to hearing your feedback from our easy tabs, hearing your feedback from the removal, from our application. So again, tag me on Instagram if you do utilize any of the tips so I can, hear your feedback and see how it went for you. You will find this replay of the World of Aqua in our World of Aqua Facebook group. So if you're not there yet, check us out on Facebook. You can watch all the replays from our previous sessions in World of Aqua 2021 Facebook group. So we have session 1 through 6 already up in our Facebook group. Everything from tips and tricks to hand-tied weft, keratin fusion, just overall extension general maintenance. So you absolutely can find that in our Facebook group. So please join us. And if you want to learn how to do tape and extensions, you're still not comfortable, we do offer certification trainings. So if you visit our website, you will see all of our virtual training classes that we currently have up and running. I know I have 3 of our national educators not here with me today because they are teaching virtual training classes. So we have virtual training classes every Monday. If you would like to be certified in any of our systems, visit our website, you absolutely can. And I look forward to seeing you in our next session. It's crazy, we're already coming on to session number 8. So our next session is June 28th. It will be all about the business of extensions. June 28th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will discuss everything about the business of hair extensions. So that comes with pricing, how to market yourself as an extensionist, how to just really put yourself out there and make money doing hair extensions. So I'm very excited to see you there. Please, again, tag us, join our World of Aqua Facebook group, and I will see you guys on the next session. Have a great rest of your Monday. Bye.